Hello, everyone. Welcome to another horrific review. Okay, bit of a strange time to be doing this, but I've got a busy week ahead of me, and there's a lot of buzz about this movie, so I had to go and catch it before, be next weekend, the weekend after, before I even get a chance to see it. So tonight we are talking about Longlegs, released now, just come out, and directed by Oz Perkins. In the pursuit of a serial killer, an FBI agent uncovers a series of occult clues that she must solve to end this terrifying killing spree. On the outset, this is a brilliant film. It's going to need a second watch. There's quite a bit to take in and unpick with this, and there's a lot of misdirections and so forth. So this is definitely one for a second watch. Like, this is going to be a bit of a jumpy review because I've tried to take some notes on the way back, and the usual. But this is a murder mystery, almost Manchurian Candidate, paranormal. Like, all the hints are there to what this is, and it's not answered. It's one of them that'll keep you guessing sort of movies. So we start off, we have our main character, Agent Lee Harker, and we've had a killing, and it turns out it's a serial killer who's been operating for 30 years. So this is his latest victim. Harker and an agent are going to basically door to door, knocking doors, get witness statements, all that kind of stuff. And that's fine. They're knocking the door, and Harker calls out to her partner, "It's that house, it's this." So we're getting an idea that she has a premonition or something. And sure enough, knocks the door. The partner gets a bullet to the head straight away. It sort of goes down the gut, and then they arrest the fella. We don't see what happened, what the fallout is with him. We don't see him again. But it turns out this has been like a pattern. So we've got people killing their entire families, and it's been sort of a pattern, but they can't figure out why or how. And this is where Harker comes in, because I don't know, she comes across as, the sort of stereotype autistic character, code breaker, but borderline psychic. So we're not quite sure what she is, and it sort of plays with us the whole movie. So you're kind of left wondering what her stake is. Now, you know that she's got something to do with this. She's got a connection. That is obvious throughout the entire movie. What the movie does, though, it plays with you. It kind of, could it be this? Could it be that? And you're going along, and it's interesting. It's as much a murder mystery as anything else. You're trying to figure this stuff out. Oh, hey, Chris. Yep, bonus review. I had to get this in because I have a bloody busy week. I've stuff on tomorrow, obviously offline, but we're on Tuesday. I'm on again on Thursday. We're on Friday. I'm pretty sure something organised for the weekend. I just haven't put it up yet on the channel. You know what I mean? Just if I don't do it now, I'm not going to get a chance. This is definitely one. This is definitely one. This is along. What are the people saying? They're saying Silence of the Lambs, but I would say this would be closer to 7. So if you enjoyed 7 with Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt, this is along those lines. And Nicolas Cage being sort of Kevin Spacey character, I would say it's closer to that than Silence of the Lambs. Silence of the Lambs, I think, is a bit of a misdirection with this, because it's a completely different. It's not the Lecter Clarice relationship. This is completely different. I can see why people are maybe thinking, "Oh, here's an FBI agent, here's a killer," but no, put that out of your mind, because you'll go in expecting that and you'll not get it with us. Think more along the lines of 7, and that's what this movie is. However, there's a bit more, so it's not just a straight up murder mystery. There is a paranormal occult element to it, and there's a parapsychological / magic element to it. I don't, obviously, this is just, I don't want to spoil it, so I'm being careful what I say here, if that makes sense. But Harker is straight on the ball with this. She has, let's say, abilities or deduction quality. Now, there's a bit of a scene after the first incident, and we're finding out that Harker isn't run-of-the-mill FBI agent, that she's sitting down, and it's almost like a Clockwork Orange type psych evaluation where they put up random images, and she has to do word association. Now, these things are flying. I was looking at this going, how's she getting that? Like, she was saying table, and it was sort of a box, and she was saying something else, and I don't know, by the fourth or fifth one, I'm sort of going, how's she getting that from that? Do you know what I was thinking of, actually? Blade Runner. Do you know the word association game one of the replicants plays? It was that with a dash of Clockwork Orange. Like, this thing is out there. This movie has you questioning reality, if that makes sense. You are going along the road of a normal investigation, but there's enough to sort of bring you out going, am I actually watching events as they unfold, or am I watching a memory, or am I watching a projection? And it's done very well with this. Like, this needs a second watch. Like, there's no if, buts, or maybe. This is possibly, in fact, yeah, this is one for the Blu-ray collection. This is one you want to own, because it's definitely a watcher. It's definitely one that you can go again, and then the second time you watch it, it's going to be a case of, right, okay, that's the clue, that's where this is going. But even the ending is a little bit of, I guess, so you're not 100% sure. You know where it ends, but once again, you're not 100% sure. Now, Harker is definitely on another plane. Harker is definitely not rooted to this planet, and her acting does that. So my question is, obviously I've never been in the FBI, so I wouldn't know, but surely they have like psychiatric evaluation process. They have all sorts of things. How have they not picked her up? Like, she would be the weird kid in the squad. She would definitely have raised red flags. And as she's going along in this case, it's almost like, no, she's a special agent. Now, once again, I don't know about the FBI, but are you an agent first, then become a special agent, or is the rank of special agent granted you the minute you pass out of training? Because we're getting a bit of an impression here that she has just passed out of training, almost raw recruit, and she's thrust in the middle of this case. But at the same time, the way she behaves throughout this would be sending red flags to everybody, but they're acting casually as if, never mind. And that's where I'm saying, is this coming from the unreliable narrator perspective? And if it is, it's been done bloody brilliantly. So you're left questioning, okay, is this actually, are we watching this through her eyes and what she perceives? Therefore, what's going on around her might not necessarily be what we think it is. There is an element of that going through this movie. So you're kept guessing, and it's not overdone. Do you know why some movies are just telegraphed so hard they want you to pick up on the clues? And they're like, oh, here it is. This movie's not doing this. This movie wants you guessing, and this movie wants you thinking, and I like it. I like the fact that it's not treating the audience like it's an idiot. It's not spelling everything out. Like, yes, we're uncovering a mystery, but you're not. Like, we're not. We're only being told what Harker tells us. And that's what she's allowing us to know. And I hope that's not spoiling it, but this is it's centered more on her than Longlegs. And Longlegs is in this, because I was questioning myself about halfway through the movie. Does Longlegs actually exist? Because the way they've done Nick Cage obviously plays Longlegs. But up to a certain point, I did not know if he actually existed. Because he's just out of camera, he's a whisper, he's this, he's that, and you're sort of questioning yourself going, what the hell? Now, I don't think it's spoilers. Harker's not the person because she's too young. This has been going on too long, if that makes sense. But she does have a connection to it all. She lays out. Here's a weird thing as well. There's a scene where she's like looking at all the evidence, and she finds out a deck of tarot cards, like face down, and she sets out the all the evidence stuff, and then we're hearing the 911 calls in the background. So essentially, these people are calling in as the commit. So there's something strange going on here. It's not a normal case, but they know it's linked, and they're, like I said, it's as a hypnotic suggest. Flip sake, I nearly speak. You can tell I've done too many streams today and recording, right? As a hypnotic suggestion, is it parapsychosis? Is it being told through the unreliable narrator? So are we not getting the full truth of what's happening because we're seeing it through Harker's eyes? We're getting all this thrown in as well. Carter is her supervisor, and he has that sort of "I've been too long on the job" type thing aura about him, but it doesn't explain why her as a raw recruit gets the free reign that she does, because it doesn't fit in, and that's why I'm saying there's a possibility of this being from her perspective, and her perspective not being reality. We meet one of the victims who survived, who was in a catatonic state until, all this happened. So it's like a lot of things just unfold and come out at once. She provides a bit of an insight to a previous case, which was linked to occult. Oh, the movie's all set in the 90s, by the way. So you have 90s technology, answer machines, faxes, landlines, big camcorders, and all that kind of stuff. So this isn't flip up your mobile phone and get, it's gone retro to the fact you've got that isolation, which I think works, because I don't know if this would work in the modern setting with today's technology, just for the atmosphere. So you don't get that. You wouldn't get that idea of isolation, because they'll have to just do the trope of signals being cut short, and the level of surveillance that we have today. And it wasn't the 90s. 90s was a completely different era, which is weird because I consider the 90s the modern era because I grew up in the 70s and 80s. But compared to today, the 90s is ancient. It's bloody frightening how fast we've moved with technology, and the fact that stuff in the 90s is considered old tech. I grew up in the no tech, the old tech, the modern tech. It's a strange time to be alive. So much happened in a lifetime, but it's just inside. It works for this movie. The low tech sort of 90s era helps with the isolation, and it helps to cover his tracks, to cover what's going on. It doesn't mean that all the dots get joined at once. So you don't have super fast scanners or, oh God, do you remember scanners back in the 90s, the flatbed ones? Or you had the old handheld, and if you missed, like you had to like be so steady with that thing. If you missed it once, your whole image got wiped out. It wasn't a case of phone now, you snap and convert it to a document. No. So you didn't have even OCR. They tried OCR back in the day, it was horrendous. But all that stuff was like science fiction, which fits in with this murder mystery, because that's why the FBI are stumped, because they're having to do it door to door. They're having to do old school policing with this. With a bit of a sorry, I just jotted down some notes on the way back while I was doing this, so I have fresh in my head. We've got a bit of a callback to the Satanic Panic, sort of the end of that era. So there's a bit of that thrown in, and some of the clues are leading to that, and it's quoting the Book of Revelation, all that kind of stuff. So that's interesting. It's bringing it in, but it's a case of is it or isn't it? You're not 100% too sure. Even at the end, you're still not 100% sure what's going on here. And I like that. I like the fact that I've got a bit of a mystery to unpack. Now, will it become a bit more obvious on a second watch? Yeah. I think you'll pick some clues on a second watch of this, and go out when you've got sort of the investigative memory. But for a movie to watch the first time, I recommend you go and do it. It's been so long since I've had like a proper mystery. Like Chris said, there, a proper murder mystery of what's actually going on and being told for the unreliable narrator, which I love. Though I love the bending reality, unreliable narrator stories because you don't know where you're being taken, and you don't know if what's being presented to you is the truth or actually reality, and it's fun to unpack all of that stuff. Nick Cage absolutely kills it as Longlegs. I mean, they've done so well hiding him, but when you see his makeup, and when you see the fact he's actually had, he's got prosthetics on to change his face, everything else, it's just not Nick Cage being Nick. Like, he is this character. He's completely transformed, and it looks brilliant. The scene in the trailer, yeah, that's I'll not spoil that. That's a good scene. What I will say is, if Nick Cage doesn't want to make movies anymore, I guarantee he has a career of singing happy birthday to people in this playing Longlegs on Cameo. He could make an absolute fortune and never have to make another movie again. And those that have seen it will get what I'm talking about. If Nick Cage is offering to sing happy birthday to you, or one of your nearest and dearest as Longlegs, I'm bloody take it up. Yeah, he just does what he does best. He's an out there character. I'm not gonna. I think the interview room is where people are drawing the Silence of the Lambs reference for this, but it's not that at all. And it's back down to the unreliable narrator. Did we see what we saw? Did it happen that way, or did something else happen? I'll just say that. I'm trying bloody really hard not to spoil this, because what I really want to do is in about a month's time is really unpack this movie scene by scene. Like, I want to have a chat with somebody about it, like, after it's had enough time to be out, because there's a lot in this, little tidbits and things, and misdirects. And is it science fiction or magic? That's what you're going to ask about this movie. Or is it psychological? That's sort of the direction you're being pulled here. Is it magic, pure straight out casting of spells, magic, not even hinted at? Is that what's going on here? Is it science fiction, Manchurian Candidate type stuff, subliminal messaging? Or is it unreliable narrator, psychological, we're not getting presented with the correct story, and even at the end we're not getting presented with the correct story? That's the three options you got with this movie, and you're not given a payoff of what it is. You're given a hint, you get a scene being played through, but you're not told. It's that simple. There's a bit in the trailer, the scraping scene in the car. Yeah, that's part of the is Harker Longlegs question, and you don't get it answered. I'll just leave it like that. I don't know really what else to say without spoiling the movie and get into specific scenes, because you do not want to get this ruined. You want to go see this movie. Like, this is definitely going to be one of the more interesting movies of the year. You can understand the hype. Like, the hype isn't unjustified with this film. I'll just put it like that. It's worth it. Is it the best thing? Is it genre changing? No. there's nothing been done here that hasn't been done before in movies. But what it's done is it's packaged it freshly, and it's made an attempt to entertain us. And what more do you want? That's all it's doing. Do you remember there used to be loads of these movies come out, and we sort of took it for granted? I can see why there's so much hype, because we've had so much shit over the last 10 years. Just mainstream, just boring crap. That when a movie like this comes along, you are blown away because, oh, wow, somebody's actually written the script. Oh, somebody's actually being clever. Oh, we've never seen that before, but we grew up with all these sort of movies. Like, there's loads of movies like this. Triangle's a good example of a similar movie to this. If you've seen Triangle, that's one to compare to this one. Just like the time travel. But it's that sort of vibe. Seven and Triangle, I would compare these movies to. Like, there are tons. God, I still can't remember that one with Sam Worthington. There's a bit of that in it as well. I need to review that one on the channel, actually. Yeah, I'm gonna have to hook that one out and review it on the channel and get it in my head, because that was a cool one, and I think it was one of his best performances. He's not a fantastic actor, but it's one of his best performances. But yeah, I'm going off tangents here. I'm going to wrap us up. But definitely, this is a good movie. This is worth a watch. And it's definitely worth a second watch. You watch it the first time for the experience, and then you want to go back to it to start unpicking things. It's just one of them type of movies. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you think. It'd be good to hear from you in the comments. Please don't spoil it for folks. Don't go into plot details or anything. Like I said, it's a brand new movie out. Give it a few weeks if you want to talk specific spoilers, and we could do it there. But yeah, always welcome reviews. And until next time, keep updated to the channel, do the type of clicky things, and remember to keep it creepy, keep it horrific.